Her mother poked Angel's arm. Why aren't you singing? You love to sing. Angel shrugged. Her mom had a point. Why not sing? So she sang. Not so loud, her mother said immediately. Angel stopped singing and crossed her arms. She tried to return to Dominic watching, but a group of kids were now dancing on chairs, and they blocked her line of sight. Another eternity later, the singing stopped, and finally the announcer made a big production of bringing Ophelia up on the stage to blow up candles on the gargantuan cake. Of course, Ophelia couldn't even manage her 5 candles. The animatronics helped her. Angel vaguely wondered how that worked. They must have had little blowers in their mouths. After Ophelia received claps, whistles, and a standing ovation for blowing out 2 of her 5 candles, servers began cutting and passing out cake while the animatronics continued performing. Angel slouched in her chair, watching the animatronics dance. She wished she could re-choreograph the routine. As soon as the cake had been doled out, microphone feedback pierced through the commotion, and the announcer called out, And now for the grand finale of today's festivities. May we have the birthday girl back on stage, please? Ophelia grinned and ran up to the stage. Everyone cheered again. Angel looked around the room until she spotted Dominic. He was talking to his boss at the edge of the dining room, but he saw her glancing his way. He winked at her. Angel smiled. Maybe things were looking up. It was, after all, only a month to graduation, and then she was going to stay with a friend in another state while they attend a summer-long acting workshop. Angel got a scholarship for it, and she'd been saving up for travel and food expenses, which was all she needed since her friend wasn't going to charge her rent. Then after that, performing arts school. Pretty soon, she'd be living her own life, making her own choices, and she wouldn't have to take more orders from Myron or play second fiddle to Ophelia. And now for the piece of de resistance, the announcer shouted. Lower away! The band played a loud fanfare, and something started coming down the ceiling. Angel figured they were about to see a Freddy-shaped piñata or something. Piñatas seem to be popular at kids' birthday parties these days. Only half watching the thing get lowered down, Angel blinked and looked more carefully when she saw that the object wasn't a piñata. At least, it wasn't a piñata that looked like any she'd seen before. Sinking slowly down into the room, a sort of soft-looking statue was undulating, and quivering its way closer and closer to the stage. The statue was vaguely girl-shaped, and it wasn't made of papier-mâché. It seemed to be made of... Was that candy? Angel leaned forward and squinted. Yeah, it looked like gummy candy. It was like a big gummy statue. Okay, that was different. Interested now, even as she was equally repelled, Angel watched the gummy statue throw out its arms, kick its legs, and gyrate its body. Clearly some form of animatronic, like Freddy and his band members. The gummy statue was in constant motion. It flung itself this way and that. Weird, gross, and maybe a little cool. Kids, the announcer called out. For your eating enjoyment, we present you the birthday gummy. The kids cheered. The announcer looked at Ophelia. You, my lovely young lady, as the birthday girl, have the privilege of taking the first bite of our yummy gummy. You will start with the yummy gummy's toes, and you will get the responsibility of having the last bite. The yummy gummy's gumdrop nose. Ophelia laughed and clapped her hands. She started toward the gummy statue. The announcer held up a hand. Before you start, dear birthday girl, let me repeat to you all, only the birthday girl can take the gumdrop nose. That is for Ophelia, and only for Ophelia. Does everyone understand? The kids all chorused, Yes. Excellent, the announcer said. Now you may begin, Ophelia. And then, kids, come on up and join her. You will all need to take bites to devour this yummy gummy. Ready, set, go! Ophelia ran over to the gummy statue and bit off its toe. Even though it was made of candy, watching Ophelia eat the toe made Angel feel a little sick. She thought it was strange that the gummy statue kept moving, even as the other kids filled the stage and began chewing their way up the statue. Angel would have thought they have turned off the animatronics before the thing got eaten. Bored again now, that the gummy was being consumed by scrabbling children, Angel sat back and tapped her foot. For a few minutes, she watched the kids eat the candy, but then she started feeling queasy. The scene reminded her of the horrible nature shows Myron liked to watch, the ones where the lions ran down a zebra and chowed down. Angel hated those shows. It's just nature, Angel, Myron would say to her. She objected, when she objected, quit being so squeamish. Nature or not, she didn't like seeing living things eaten. She didn't even like seeing the lobsters in the tanks at restaurants. The gummy statue was just a little too lifelike to enjoy seeing it devoured by a horde of little kids' mouths. So by the time the kids were halfway up the legs, she reached into her purse and come up with a nail file. She started touching up her nails. Another several years passed, and the announcer shouted, "You're doing great, kids! Remember, the gumdrop nose is for Ophelia, and only for Ophelia." Angel glanced up to see the kids were at the neck. Only the statue's head was left. It had been lowered closer to the stage so the kids could reach it. Angel watched a pudgy kid tear off the head's ear with his little white teeth. Her stomach flip-flopped. She looked back down at her nails. She didn't look up again until the announcer shouted, "Everyone stop!" The kids froze. The head was almost gone. "Ophelia, our birthday girl, come get your gumdrop nose," the announcer called. Angel looked up once more. She saw Ophelia sitting at the edge of the stage, looking like she might be sick. The announcer, unperturbed, danced over, pulled her to her feet, and escorted her to the remains of the gummy statue. "Take your gumdrop nose," the announcer said. Ophelia looked at the announcer, then reached out and plucked the nose from the nearly consumed head. She tugged on the announcer's leg, and he bent over. She whispered something to him, and he stood. "Our birthday girl is going to take her gumdrop nose home to savor at a later time. Let's give her a big round of applause." "For what?" Angel wondered. "Saving a gumdrop for later? Please." Angel shook her head and waited for the century that had been Ophelia's birthday party to come to an end. They'd finally left Freddy's at around 6 p.m. Considering they'd left the house before noon, Angel decided it had to have been one of the longest birthday parties on record. The sun was still in the sky, reminding Angel how close they were to June and graduation, her ticket to freedom. The thought helped loosen some of her taut muscles. Sorry for messing up. Angel got into the back seat of Myron's top-of-the-line minivan and strapped herself in while Myron helped Ophelia into her car seat. Ophelia said she was feeling bloopy because she ate too much of the gummy statue. She still hadn't eaten the gumdrop nose, though. It had been wrapped carefully in plastic for her. Ophelia stank of sweat and garlic. Angel shrunk against her door and turned to look out the window. She pressed her nose against the warm glass and tried to breathe the sun's expanse rays through the glass instead of Ophelia's stench. Myron finished strapping in his precious daughter and then got into the driver's seat. Angel's mom was already in the passenger seat, visor down, checking her makeup. Myron started the engine and then turned around to look at Ophelia. "So are you ready for your big birthday surprise, sweetie?" Angel swiveled to gawk at Myron. He had to be kidding. There was more than that extravagant birthday display they just endured. Ophelia, who'd been about to nod off before Myron spoke, lifted her head and clapped her hands. "Birthday surprise? What is it, Daddy?" "You'll have to wait and see, my princess." Ophelia bounced in her car seat. She grinned at Angel and asked, "Do you know what my surprise is?" Angel shook her head and turned toward the window again. She did her best to zone out as the minivan began moving, and she must have done a good job, because the next thing she knew, Myron was shouting, "Here we are!" Ophelia let out an adult-sized snort and opened her eyes. Angel blinked and wiped her wet eyes. Then she blinked again and wiped her eyes again. No, really? Myron had pulled the minivan into a graveled area in front of a huge barn, next to a grassy paddock in which 3 lovely chestnut horses grazed. The evening sun caressed their backs, turning them golden. "Horsies!" Ophelia squealed. "Oh, Daddy, are they ponies? I want a pony." "I know, sweetie," Myron laughed. He got out of the minivan and opened the back door to unstrap his daughter. "Come on, Angel," her mother said. Angel forced herself to open the minivan door. She had to command her feet to move. She did not want to see what was about to happen. She got out of the car and looked around. Myron, Ophelia, and Angel's mom were heading toward the barn, and they didn't seem to care she wasn't with them. So Angel turned in the opposite direction. She picked her way across the gravel, listening to her footsteps crunch, and she approached the wood fence around the paddock. One of the horses, a mare, trotted over to see her, dropping her huge head over the top of the fence to nuzzle Angel's shoulder. The mare smelled like fresh hay and moist earth. She also smelled a little like manure, or maybe that wasn't the horse. The paddock needed cleaning up. Angel laughed when the mare gave Angel an insistent shove with her nose. "I don't have anything for you," she said. "Do you want to give her an apple?" Angel turned to see a red-headed girl coming her way. The girl's long hair was plaited into a braid, and she was smiling. She wore denim overalls, and she looked open and friendly. "Hi," Angel said. "Hi." The girl held out an apple and a slice of an apple. Angel took it. "Put it in your palm and hold your palm out flat and steady," the girl said. Angel did as she was instructed. The horse took the apple slice. Her lips felt warm and soft against Angel's palm. The puff of her breath tickled. Angel smiled. "You're awesome," she told the horse. "Thanks," the redheaded girl said. Angel looked at her. "Oh, you weren't talking to me?" The girl laughed. "I get that all the time. Next to the horses, I tend to disappear." "Sorry," Angel said. "My name's Angel." "Tammy." "You work here?" Angel asked. Tammy nodded. "This is my dad's place." "That's my mom and stepdad over there," Angel said. "Ophelia is getting a pony." "Ophelia?" Angel pointed. "My stepsister?" "Oh yeah, sweet little girl. She's been out here a couple times to ride the ponies, but today she's hitting the jackpot." Angel ignored the sweet little girl comment. "What do you mean by the jackpot?" "Oh, I mean Ophelia isn't just getting a pony. She's getting a pony and a horse. Her dad wants her to have the pony while she's still small, but he's bought a yearling for her too. He wants her to grow up with her horse, and she's going to be getting private lessons all year long too." "How much does that cost?" Angel blurted. "Sorry, that was rude, and you probably can't tell me." "No, I get it, and I don't think there's any confidentiality in our business, at least not this part of it. Now, if we were talking racehorses, that'd be another corral of fillies," Angel smiled. "The pony's $2,000, Tammy said. "The yearling is $3,000, but that's just the beginning. We charge a couple thousand a year to keep and take care of a pony or a horse, so your stepdad will be spending about $4,000 a year on fees, and then the lessons will be $50 a day. So let's say she comes on an average of 3 times a week. Even, it's like, for 50 weeks. That's what?" Tammy looked upward, doing math in her head. "That's 7,500 a year," Angel said. "Yeah," Tammy said. "So what did you get for your birthday this year?" Angel laughed. "Dinner at a burger place, because that's where Ophelia wanted to go. I'm a vegetarian." "Oh, that's rude." "I know, right? But I also got a small cake and a new set of suitcases, for when I leave home." Tammy barked out a laugh. "Oh, sorry. That's so sad it's funny." Tammy covered her mouth. "I'm so sorry." Angel laughed too. "It's all right. They say comedy is tragedy plus time." Tammy shook her head. "I was feeling sorry for myself before I came over here to talk to you. See, I want to go to culinary school, and my dad won't let me go until the fall because his foreman got injured, and I need to stay and help him and help. I mean, once Ed, the foreman, is back, Dad will pay for my school, and he's even getting me a car." Angel sighed. "I'm not bragging," Tammy said. "I'm only telling you so I can hear how good I actually have it. I'm really sorry you're stuck with a jackass of a stepdad. Really sorry." Angel shrugged. "Well, I'm glad I can hang here and make you happy." It was well after 8:30 p.m. when they finally got home. Ophelia was asleep again when Myron pulled the minivan into the garage. Angel was numb. She was only breathing, she thought, because it was a habit and was habit. She was in shock, so angry that she had no clue how to process it. She just couldn't believe what had just happened. No, that wasn't true. She did believe it, and that's what made her so angry. "So did you love your party and your surprise, my princess?" Myron asked Ophelia as they came through the muddled room and laundry room from the four-car garage. Angel ignored Myron and his daughter as she cut through the kitchen and headed up the stairs to her bedroom. Her mom, and then Myron, and Ophelia followed her. She listened to the echo of their footfalls as they traipsed over the expensive hardwood floors that Myron was inordinately proud of. The house sounded so cavernous, so cold and uninviting. It was big, but who cared? Myron and Angel's mother had the biggest bedroom in the house. Naturally, it was a huge master suite with a sitting area. Ophelia's room, though, wasn't much smaller. Her domain was also a suite, with a sleeping area, a reading nook, and a play area. She also had her own huge closet and bathroom. Angel got a normal sized room at the end of the hall, and she didn't get her own bathroom. She had to walk to the other end of the hall to use a bathroom. Whatever. She'd be gone soon, though. And enough. Angel went into her plain peach and white room. Myron had decorated it, without Angel's input. She hated the colors, she hated the sheer curtains, and she hated the twin-size bed. She was almost an adult. She deserved at least a full-size bed. The only thing Angel liked about her room was the view. Her window looked out over the backyard, which was huge and filled with trees. Flopping down on her tiny bed, Angel clenched her teeth and thought about the unfairness of it all. What was she? Trash? Something to be ignored and discarded? Angel stood and started pacing back and forth. One day very soon, Myron, her mother, and Ophelia too would realize how wrong they were to dismiss her. Angel was not going to be ignored. She was going to be successful, hugely successful, and when she wasn't going to share a dime with her horrible mother and stepdad and stepsister. She was going to make it. She was going to be the center of attention. Angel dropped onto her bed again. She thought about just going to sleep. The day had totally drained her, but her stomach wouldn't stop growling, so she left her room and headed for the kitchen. As she went back down the hall, Angel glanced more from habit than from interest into Ophelia's room. Ophelia was nowhere in sight. She was probably in the master with her daddy. Angel saw the plastic-wrapped gumdrop nose sitting on Ophelia's white-painted nightstand. She noticed Ophelia had placed the nose in her treasures dish, a little crystal, yes, real crystal, shallow bowl that held everything from rocks and seashells to coins and gold jewelry. Angel shook her head and continued on. Back downstairs, Angel went into the kitchen and flipped on the light switch. Warm yellow glowing circles shined down from the amber glass pendants above the tanker-sized island and illuminated black granite countertops. Recessed lights lit up custom cherry cabinets and stainless steel appliances. The kitchen was a cook's dream. Too bad a gourmet cook didn't live here. Angel cooked a little, but not a ton. She had to learn what little she knew how to cook on her own. Come to think of it, she had to learn everything she knew how to do on her own. She went to the fridge, scourged around, and found a bean salad she made for herself a couple days before. She was about to take the first bite when the phone rang. Thinking of Dominic, she snatched up the receiver. Hello? Ah, I think I hear the voice of an angel, Dominic said. Very funny, Angel thought. She thought she sounded casual and relaxed, but her pulse had at least doubled in pace the second Dominic spoke. I am very funny, aren't I? Aren't you lucky to have met me? Angel laughed. I'm beside myself. There are two of you? Lucky me. Angel groaned but giggled. You do think you're funny, don't you? Hilarious. Angel shook her head. And also very modest? Very. Not to mention succinct, Angel said, smiling. Dominic chuckled. Brevity is the soul of wit. Good one, Angel said. Proud of yourself? Inordinately. Angel laughed. She had to admit she was impressed that he'd thrown out another Hamlet quote, but she wasn't going to tell him that. You are too much. The lady doth protest too much, methinks, Dominic said. Angel groaned. A click came over the line, and Myron's heavy breathing battered Angel's ear. I'm on the phone, Myron, she said. It's late. Who are you talking to? Late? It is even 9 p.m. Angel was going to lie and say it was one of her friends, but Dominic, clueless about the extent of Myron's unreasonableness, spoke up. My name is Dominic, sir. I'm calling to ask out your stepdaughter. Who the hell are you? Myron asked. I've never heard her talk about a Dominic. I just. Angel tried to insert. We just met today, sir, Dominic said innocently. Angel groaned. Where? Are you lying? She was with us. Where do you get off lying to me, young man? Dominic spoke. After a slight hesitation, he seemed to be getting that Myron wasn't playing with a full deck. I know she was with you, sir. I'm with you today, sir, Dominic said in the slow, soothing tone used to pacify a distressed toddler. She was at Freddy's with your family. I work part-time there. I'm one of the assistant managers. I didn't see you, Myron snapped. Another little silence preceded Dominic's patient response. With all due respect, sir, you wouldn't know if you did see me. We haven't met yet. That's exactly my point. You're not taking Angel out. We don't know you. I'm happy to come over and, Dominic began. You're not coming to this house. We don't know you, Myron repeated. I'm sorry, but how will you get to know me if you don't meet me? Get the hell off my phone, smart aleck, Myron said. He slammed down his receiver and bellowed down the stairs. You better be off in 10 seconds, Angel, or I'm coming down there. Angel cringed. I have to go, she said to Dominic. Call me when you can, Dominic said. Angel hung up the phone just as Myron stomped into the kitchen. Where do you get off handing out my phone number to a total stranger? He demanded. It's my phone number too, Angel pointed out. Just by abstinence, Myron said. What's that supposed to mean? It means I married your mother, and you came along for the ride. I came along for the ride? Angel threw back, incredulously. She widened her eyes and stared at Myron. Her mom came into the room. She held up a small stack of envelopes. I got the mail. Angel, you got a letter. Angel took the letter her mother held out, and she glanced at the return address. It was from the student loan office. Maybe they were going to give her more money. She ripped the envelope open and looked at the letter. She read a couple sentences. What? She blurted. What is it? Her mother said. Angel looked up at her mother. They're rescinding my student loan offer because they updated the records and discovered you're now married to Myron, and Myron makes too much money for me to qualify for a loan. Well, he does make a lot of money, her mother said. But how does that help me? Angel shouted. She whirled to face Myron. Are you going to pay for me to go to school? Not that stupid art school. But that's the school I want to go. It's a good school. A nationally ranked school. I don't care. It's not a normal college. I'm not paying for something that isn't a normal college. Shouldn't have to pay for anything at all, come to that. But as a gift to my beloved Bianca, I'd pay for you to go to a state college. That's the deal. Take it or leave it. But you can afford it, Angel argued. You wouldn't even notice the money missing. The amount of money I need to go to school is nothing to you. You have a lot to learn about money, young lady, Myron said. Angel couldn't keep it inside anymore. She hadn't said a word at the horse farm. She hadn't made a peep in the car, but it came out now. You just bought your daughter 2 horses, Angel screamed. She's 5. You're going to spend more on those horses and on horseback riding lessons in the next few years than you would on all of my education, plus a car. How is horseback riding better than performing arts school? At least I'm going to school to learn a skill I can use to make a living. What good will horse riding do for Ophelia? She's going to be way too big to be a jockey. Don't you insult your sister, Myron shouted. She's not my sister, Angel yelled for the second time. Second time today. She's your daughter, and she's a thief. What the hell does that mean? Myron demanded. She stole what should have been mine. She stole my mother, and she's stealing my future. It isn't fair. Life isn't fair, Myron said, smirking. You're ruining my life, Angel yelled. She turned to her mother. If you hadn't married this ass, we'd be poor, yeah, but at least we'd be happy, and at least I'd be able to get a student loan. I'm very happy, her mother said woodenly. Yeah, and I'm a piñata, Angel said. She picked up the open plastic container of bean salad, and she threw it in the sink. The container bounced up on impact, and beans flew everywhere. Angel ran out of the kitchen. You get back here and clean that up, Myron yelled. Clean up yourself, Angel yelled back. It's your freaking house. Angel took the stairs 2 at a time. She reached the hall and stomped down it, intending to go into her room, throw herself on the bed, and cry her eyes out. But as she passed Ophelia's room, her peripheral gaze landed on the plastic wrapper with the gumdrop nose. Angel stopped. She looked at the nose, and she saw Ophelia wearing a new pair of horse motif pajamas, sitting in her play area, happily talking to her baby dolls, which were riding on plush horses. Angel couldn't help herself. If she was going to have a treasure taken from her, the treasure of going after her dream, of being able to live her life the way she wanted to live it, Ophelia had to lose a treasure too. Fair was fair. Angel charged into Ophelia's room. "Want to play horsey rides?" Ophelia asked. Angel ignored her. She strode to Ophelia's nightstand and snatched up the wrapped gumdrop nose. "Hey!" Ophelia said. "That's mine!" Ophelia started to scramble to her feet, but she tripped over her big plush horse head slippers. She landed on her hands and knees and started to cry. "Yeah, well, now it's mine." Angel unwrapped the nose and popped it into her mouth. "No!" Ophelia screamed. She thrashed out of her slippers and stood and ran towards Angel. "Stop!" she yelled. It was too late. Good," Angel said, chewing dramatically. Actually, it wasn't good at all. It tasted horrible. Like sugar. And she didn't know what. It was just a sugary yuck. But she chewed and swallowed it anyway. Ophelia squawked like a bird, then began howling like a deranged wolf. Angel could hear her mother and Myron thundering up the stairs. She shot an imaginary gun at Ophelia and said, "Catch you later, kid." Then she darted to her room just as Myron got to the top of the stairs. Ophelia continued to howl, and Angel didn't care at all. She went into her room and shut and locked the door. For good measure, because she could hear Myron's raised voice and heavy steps in the hall. She put her desk chair under the knob. She worked her tongue around inside her mouth, trying to get rid of the disgusting taste of the gumdrop nose. But even as she did, she felt a nauseating sense of self-satisfaction. It felt distressingly good to make Ophelia feel bad. For once, Angel was able to take something from Ophelia instead of the other way around. It made her feel small and ashamed that she was so triumphant. See? There. Ophelia had just stolen something else. Angel's self-respect. Myron pounded on her door and shouted something unintelligible. She tensed. Myron had never hit her or anything. He had only used his words to berate her. But she knew, and she didn't know what Myron would do for her eating Ophelia's precious nose. She giggled. That sounded funny. The roaring outside her door wasn't funny, though. She stopped giggling. She backed up and sat on her bed. Not for the first time. She wished she had a phone in her room. She wanted to call Dominic, or her friends, or the police. Someone had to be on her side. "Get out of here, young lady!" Myron yelled outside her door. "You've gone too far this time!" She didn't respond to him. She just sat on her bed, hugged her knees to her chest, and rocked herself. When Myron kept shouting and pounding on her door, she turned off her lights and put on her headphones. She closed her eyes and began singing along with her favorite song. Singing would make her feel better. Angel woke up abruptly. Where was she? She rubbed her eyes and tried to orient herself. The last she remembered, she was listening to music and singing. She looked around the room. It was dark. She flipped on the lamp on her nightstand and looked at her clock. It was just past 11 p.m. She took off her headphones and listened. The house was silent except for their intermittent ticks and groans. The usual sounds. Angel's neck itched. She scratched at it. Her jaw itched, and she scratched at that as well. When the itching started up on her chest, she got up and went to her dresser so she could look in the mirror. Had she gone bitten by some insect at the farmhouse? Angel looked at her reflection. She sucked in her breath.